today we are at EduNext Summit and we have with us Professor B.S. Satyanarayana, Vice Chancellor GD Goenka University, Haryana.
Good afternoon.
A very
Thanks
warm
for having
welcome,
me.
sir.
Yeah, please.
So, starting with, I would love to know about your experience at the summit. How was it? Learnings if you have in the hall and in the panel discussion.
I think the whole world is mandatorily going into digitalization, and transformative digitalization for sure, because it's on one side the most inclusive, enabling in higher education for innovation research and also basic learning in a democratized way. But next, it's also very expensive to adapt some of the aspects of digitalization because new product processes are coming and it's very expensive. And therefore, as a university, it's a huge challenge for us as to how do we do that. So the presentations today, I think, were quite a bit of an eye-opener in the sense that we have a better holistic overview of what could be leveraged as is from what is available on the web, and how do we even better plan, prioritize, and design an optimized adaptation of solution based on both our budgets and also extensive leveraging of digitalization in all our process with the design thinking, with the systems overview. So I think it was a very useful process for us to have this opportunity to learn and look at what is the latest product, whether it is a Microsoft Copilot or I say my own Copilot, how do I work, or the Siksha Copilot that we're talking about. Examples were quite useful. So we believe it's a very useful exercise. We have already proactively incorporated digitalization, even with digitization, even in the times of Excel, we were making our decisions based on data. So now I think it's even more automation coming in, and along with it, also more, thought process going into the complete digitalization with a user experience is a key requirement. Everybody, because we have set our curriculum to say, create the joy of learning, joy of teaching for the faculty, and the joy of working for my employees. So that only when everybody enjoys the pace at which knowledge is changing, the pace at which learning has to happen. It will happen only when everybody is enjoying it. And that's what experience of any product process design calls about. And I think digitalization enables it. And I'm happy to see that more facilitation even coming from Microsoft side. And we're especially happy that Elets created this platform and even gave us an opportunity to be part of it. So quite happy to be learning and also sharing some of our unique thoughts, because I'm happy to say that in the last 10 years, starting from simple digitalization in old university where institution transforming from teaching to a research engaged and industry engaged institution, or creating as a founder vice chancellor of 2 universities, and also linking knowledge and skill seamlessly, that some of our students, or rather one of the previous university I headed, in the 3-year time, where about 30 students won national medals in skilling, from robotics to AI and cyber security aspects to say water technology or cooking or whatever. So I think digitalization is here to stay. It's very important that we proactively learn. And this conference, I think, gave us a very good insight into more emerging things. I'm very happy to be part of this program. Yeah.
Oh, that's great, sir. So as we are today at EduNext Summit, and everyone is talking about AI nowadays, and it is making a mark in the education ecosystem. So what can be the next mark in the education system? What can be the next for education?
I think, education 5.0 is saying that, so far everything was technology enabled. How do we bring holistically the human values, ethics, integrity back into it? As even today, I think Mr. Amit was talking about the new step. All those parameters are essentially the human values. So, and make it once again, truly human centric. Sustainable development is what we are talking. So it's a question of now, how do we truly leverage, rather than making the tool being the process or enabler, we leverage the tool better, but work towards greater good. And that has to happen in the education with every innovation, every technology adaptation, every product process leverage for service is what is needed in the education 5.0 as people are talking. And therefore, I think, and AI is in that way truly a great enabler, because it is also with cloud computing, digitalization, it's a leveler. It's I would say, truly inclusive. Because it has become affordable for us without investing in capex of technology to access anything and everything. And again, many things are today available as open access. And of course, better quality service, you have to pay something. India, for example, in the last decade had the highest number of VC funding for edutech companies. So these are exciting times, and we think, how do we leverage AI? How do we leverage these edutech products? And also with the systems overview, as I said again, judicially manage our budget to work between open source content, AI leveraged learning and adapted advanced products to cumulatively deliver a more human centric education, and also education truly becoming an enabler of the society. Because for the last 75 years, we see that India developed where education was irrelevant, all technology was imported. But for the next 100 years, I think for sustainable development, Indian knowledge system is very critical. So we want to link the latest AI with the Indian knowledge system, link the two to deliver sustainable solutions, from basic teaching and learning of understanding of fundamentals to linking it with skill for experiential learning, and from that skill and experiential learning to research innovation through inquiry that product process solutions happen. And we, the society, the NGO industry, all work together. I think we are really excited to have this provision of AI because, as I said once again, when well leveraged, it's truly a very inclusive and affordable tool. And we look forward to the usage.
Yes. So I think you in your last 2-3 sentences you have well defined the national education policy, because it is the main agenda of NEP. What exactly they are aiming for, you defined it well in your conversation. And moving ahead, as you said that technology and human centric, there should be a rich balance between
Absolutely.
them.
Absolutely.
So how can we make a leverage of technology and keep human centric approach at the same time?
I think the key is, as I said in the beginning, we need to do everything with the design thinking. We have developed a 20 parameter matrix. One is the foundational skills, one is the competency skills, other is the character skills. So how do we create a assessment metrics for outcomes where whatever work is done, it is done with in line with national education policy through a multidisciplinary approach and experiential learning.
Yes.
Get out of the rote learning process just to know education, but to know, to do, to understand, and to implement has to happen. And that will happen only when we link a multidisciplinary approach and do project-based learning. And in that project-based learning, again, not blindly leaving people to do anything, but set up a frame, assessment metrics for outcomes. So there, we make sure that the questions asked on foundation skills, or whether it is a numerical, economics, sciences, foundation, whatever, those foundation skills, character skills of critical thinking, creative thinking, analytical thinking, collaborative working environment, and more importantly, competence skills of them, and then character traits of from inquisitivity to initiative to societal engagement, empathy, all of them, and even say contextual correlation. We are making it as mandatory in that assessment metrics. That's why when they do a project-based activity, link every subject, whether it's English language, whether it is simply looking at a balance sheet, or whether it's looking at technology, or even say sociology, psychology. And the assessment metrics ensures that I start first, whenever I do anything, start looking at how do I enable the society. Because I am privileged to get a degree. In a nation of 1,450 million people, there are hardly, say a few percentage of people getting degrees. And higher education is even lesser. And so as being privileged, that education has to be immediately applicable, whether it is a policy analysis, whether it is a product process solution, global or in a local context. So if even the questions are such that going beyond the AI and the Google, set outcome-based questions in the assessment metrics so that there is truly outcomes which is for greater good, for myself, my society, my institution, my home, whatever. All that questions are added so that every time when I start thinking, in future I'll always be doing with design thinking or a systems overview, multidisciplinary approach, all the national education mandates. So we are happy to say that we have created this unique framework in our education process. And as I said, maybe in the beginning, it is not just student-centric, because everybody is a learner. Student is a learner, the teacher is also a learner, but also a facilitator with prior knowledge and experience. So we are saying student-centric, faculty-centric, staff-centric, everybody having the joy of learning, an experience of joy of working. So that in that frame of mind, the outcomes I think will be relevant to society. And that's where we truly leverage technology or AI to see that we deliver something which is useful to all, and also have satisfaction of doing a good work with empathy built in, circular economy built in, sustainability built in, are some things we are working, as I said, again with the design thinking overview. Hopefully I'm making some sense of what I'm saying.
Absolutely. And I really like the term joy of learning, and I think every educator should focus on that, because with the technology or with the traditional learning, it's very important to have joy in the learning, because it stays with the student for a longer time if they learn it by a method which is joyful for them. So thank you so much for having this conversation with us. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
you.